So today's video is going to be a review and comparison video on the Koss portapro X headphones, which are basically just the portapros but with an inline remote and microphone. So I'm going to be reviewing these and comparing them with the KOSS KPH30i's, which I've reviewed in a previous video. If you did want to check that out, I'll have a card for that on the top right corner of this video. So first off, starting with the design and the build quality. The headband is made out of a durable metal. On the metal headband you have these two plastic grips in order to extend the headband to accommodate bigger heads. So if you push them together, the headband gets larger, and if you pull them apart, the headband gets smaller. There is no holding position for the headband, so if you set a specific length, it will only stay that way while it's on your head, because as soon as you take off the headband, it resets itself. This does get especially annoying if you need to constantly put on and take off your headphones. Below the metal headband, you have this ear cup tension switch that KOSS calls a comfort zone. And essentially what this is, it's a tension level switcher. So the design is actually quite simple. Basically, if I push the spring-loaded switch back, you'll then see on the opposite side you have two small little steps. And so what the spring switch does is it allows the headphone to tilt back in two positions, medium and light. And this basically relieves some of the tension that's put on by these headphones onto your ears. The design is very basic and it does help slightly with easing off the squeeze. On the other side of the comfort zone switch, you'll see these foam pads, which are the main pressure points of these headphones when they're on your head. And then below that you have the ear cups. So these ear cups can be tilted 360 degrees all around, and this does make the ear cups more comfortable. I just wanted to mention quickly that this whole bottom half of the headphone is made out of plastic. So it looks like a full type of plastic on the outside, but if you look on the inside, you'll see that it's hollowed out, which does add cheapness to the overall feel and look of these headphones. The color accent on these is mainly black with some very dark blue just right here. And you also have the Koss portapro branding on the outside of the cup, as well as a Phillips screw that serves no purpose other than part of the style. On the other side of that, there are removable foam pads which do feel very soft, and if I'm not mistaken, you could get some relatively inexpensive unofficial upgradable pads for these portapro X's, as well as the side foam pads that you see here. So if you do need replacements, I'll drop some links for that in the description below. Now, as I mentioned before in the previous unboxing video, I basically said that these feel very clanky, to which I still stand by that statement. Though in terms of comfort and fit, these are comfortable on my ears for the most part at least, though I don't see myself being able to wear these for longer than 1 hour at a time, since there is a good amount of pressure that's being pressed into my skull from these foam pads that rest about an inch away from my temples. I'm going to mention this again, that I do find these headphones to be inconvenient when taking them off and putting them back on, because the adjustable headband does tend to reset when you do take these headphones off your head. And I do this quite a bit when I'm at the gym. But I will say this, these headphones are very portable in a way that you could basically fold them up. And to do this, you would fold the ear cups into itself and then clasp them together, and you can now fit them in the palm of your hand. But then you do have to find something to do with the wire, which brings me to that. So the wire on these portapro X's is one of the biggest weakest points on these headphones. You would think since the release of the first pair of Koss portapros in 1984, Koss would have improved these headphones by doing something simple, like changing the cord to a thicker cord, or better yet, making the cord an interchangeable cord. So look, if the cord was to get damaged on these headphones, which is probably one of the first things to happen, you would either have to find a way to repair them yourself, or you could send them into Koss, because these are covered under the Koss lifetime limited warranty. So what this means for you is that they will repair this for you free of charge, so long as you do pay for the shipping back and forth. Now back to the cord. So there's an inline remote and microphone on these portapro X's, and on the remote you have one button that can play, pause, skip tracks, and go back to the previous tracks. And on the other side of the button is a microphone, and this is what that microphone sounds like. Hey guys, I'm now speaking into the microphone on the Koss portapro X's, and I'm recording this using the voice memo app on my iPhone 6. So as you heard, the microphone does sound decent for an inline microphone. Actually, this is the exact same microphone as the KPH30i's. If I could just get your attention back to the cord for just one more minute. So the top part of the cord is thin, and the bottom part of the cord below the Y splitter is a lot thicker. And then all the way at the end of the cord you have the spring reinforced strain relief, and that goes all the way into the headphone jack. Now you're probably wondering what the difference is on the regular Koss portapros and the portapro X's, and basically the regular Koss portapros have a regular cord, and that's pretty much the difference between these and that. Oh, and also the color accent is different, and the regular Koss portapros don't have this spring reinforced strain relief that you do see on these portapro X's. So overall, in terms of build quality, these are for the most part decent, except for of course the cord, which does seem like the weakest point on these headphones. But again, to that I did want to add that these headphones do come with a Koss limited lifetime warranty, so Koss will repair these headphones for you free of charge, so long as you do pay for the back and forth shipping. Now let's finally move on to the sound. So as most of you might have heard from others, these do sound very good, to which they do. There's a very pronounced bass, the highs and mids are solid, but the overall sound is muddy, or cloudy if you want to call it that. And what I mean by that is that it almost sounds like there's a barrier between me and the sound. It's hard for me to really explain, you would have to hear it in order to understand what I'm talking about, but other than that the sound on these is pretty good. Now, since these are open back on-ear headphones, there is a lot of sound leak as well as there's no noise isolation. So these would not be practical for everyday commuters that are looking for a pair of headphones to listen to on the train or bus or carpool rides, since these will leak out and most probably annoy people around you. Also, because these are open back and flat, you'll get little to no noise isolation and you'll be able to hear the ambient noise around you, which you're most probably trying to avoid in noisy environments. Unless of course you really need to hear what's happening around you, then these would be suitable for that. Now back to the sound. So as I said before, the sound is cloudy on these, but still with that said, these still produce all the sounds within a track. So they pretty much cover all the frequencies and they are very loud. And the ear cups do press onto your ears pretty snugly, so I think that this also contributes to the loudness of these headphones. Now let's compare these Koss portapro X's to my Koss KPH30i's. So I paid about $60 for the Koss portapro X's, and for the Koss KPH30i's I paid $28. So that's about $30 less for the KPH30i's. Now in terms of design and fit, I do prefer the Koss KPH30i's since they do have an adjustable headband that stays in place even when removing the headphones. They also don't feel as clanky as the portapro X's that I have, and overall do have a better fit around my head and ears. Now in terms of portability, the Koss portapro X's are way more portable than the KPH30i's, so the portapros do take the lead when it comes to portability. Also in terms of comfort, I'm going to have to give that to the portapro X's. So the portapros in short have smaller ear cups and don't cover the hard cartilage part of my ears, whereas the KPH30i's do cover my whole ears, even the hard cartilage part of my ears. So I could definitely wear the portapro X's for longer periods of time, whereas on the KPH30i's I do feel the discomfort a lot faster. So in terms of comfort, the portapros take the win here. Now the cord on both these headphones are exactly the same, so it's a tie for that. Now here comes the big one, probably the determining factor for most of you out there watching this video. And that's the sound comparison between both of these headphones. So for me personally, I prefer the sound on the KPH30i's. The soundstage, first of all, is wider and airier. The highs are crisper along with the mids. Also the KPH30i's do sound slightly less muddied than the portapro X's. But the sound on the portapros is louder. And the bass is also slightly more pronounced on the portapros than they are on the KPH30i's. Not a lot though, just a little bit. So the bass is still pretty banging on the KPH30i's. Now in terms of sound leak between the Koss portapros and the KPH30i's do leak out more sound. And this actually got me thinking because I did previously say that the portapros were louder than the KPH30i's. But now that I think of it, the portapros are only louder when they're on your ears, because they are pressed closer to the ears. But with the headphones off, the KPH30i's do sound a lot louder. So again, for me, I do prefer the sound on the KPH30i's than the sound on the Koss portapro X's. So I don't know about you guys, but for me, the KPH30i's take the overall lead here. I think the sound and fit are better, at least for me it is, and they're also less expensive. Okay, so the portapro X's are more comfortable, but that reset that I get from taking them off every single time really does get to me after a while. Also, I'm not a fan of the clankiness of the portapro X's. So clear winner here, hands down, are the Koss KPH30i's. Well guys, that's pretty much it for my review and comparison on these Koss portapro X's. If you guys did find this review and comparison helpful, please hit that like button. And also don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. And if you guys did have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. For now, thank you for watching. I'll catch you on the flip side.